here. Yup. I'm here. We're gonna finish Metaphor, but for real. Cause I don't know. I got to what is probably just an epilogue. Um, but okay, that looks like it's working. Is the Twitch stream working? It looks like the Twitch stream is working. Okay, so I can post that I'm live. Let me put the caveat on the YouTube stream link. Okay, and then post that I am live. The best intro. Just talk about all the random chores I got. Yeah, we're 104 hours into the game. Yeah, I'm kind of upset at YouTube. Cause I realized my last stream of this game, I don't know if it was just like tech or my fault or what, but the VOD got cut at like the VOD got cut before I finished before I finished playing on YouTube. So there's like an hour and 35 minutes that are just kind of lost in the void, except for it's in the Twitch VOD. So I'll make sure I get that up on the VOD's channel somehow. I gotta figure it out, cause yeah, it's a pain. But yeah, we're in the epilogue, so that just means we now have to talk to everybody but again. Well, more Maria, it looks like. So yeah. I don't know if anything will happen after this, but yeah. But yeah, we'll just start talking to people. I don't know if I'll have to voice things, but I assumed I do, so. That means I'm gonna very consciously read the lines to myself before reading them aloud, so I can try to do it better. Sometimes I don't. I just try to read them. Hulkenberg. Hi, Hulkenberg. When you've finished your business outside of the palace, please promise me you'll return to resume your duties, Your Majesty. If you take this as my pressuring you to not venture out, that's not it at all. Not it at all. Only that, as Captain of the Royal Guard, I must know your whereabouts at all times. You needn't be so serious, Hulkenberg. Lighten up. Maybe? You mean to say I am too fussy? Well, 'tis only proper for the Captain of the Royal Guard. To be over-familiar would set a poor example. Imagine the scandalized faces of the rank-and-file guard. That said, not a day goes by that I don't reflect on our travels. Now only a year past. I owe regaining my pride as a knight to that journey. I was but a wanderer, searching in vain for the prince, and it was through you that I learned he has lived. And in the end, it was your ascent to the throne that I supported. I never tire of the faces of the younger guards make when I tell them of the time you acted as witness to my duel. Ah, Rodonth. Yes. Thanks to you, I was able to face him with eyes forward and put my past behind me. I'm pleased to say the knights of today are nothing like what they were under Rodonth's command. Soldiers take up their sword not for those in power, but for the people. And as the champion of the people yourself, we will do all in our power to protect you, our king. You do not make it easy by sneaking out of the palace as you do, though I suspect the soldiers are getting used to your chaotic tendencies. They know they protect not just a king, but a ruler who stands beside his people and hears their voices in clarion truth. I will protect you with my life, as I always have endeavored to do, Your Majesty. Only let me stay by your side to do so. There's still other people we can talk to, but did you want to go see Maria now? We should talk to everyone and then go find Maria. That is how this works. I might need to like restart my phone. Maybe I'll do that when we switch to Monster Hunter. Cause I don't know, I feel like it's being weird. Hi, Stroll. Skulking him out of the city again, are we? Which is to say, Hulkenberg is on the hunt. The classic game of cat and mouse. Though who is which, I dare not say. It's been a year since you ascended the throne, but it's like you've hardly changed. You haven't changed much yourself either, Stroll. That's Lord or General Stroll, Your Majesty. I'll never get used to such titles. I really should take a page from Juna's book. She has a gift for delegating, like she was born to do so. Not that I can talk. I actually came out for a bit of a breather myself. You know, I see now that even those at the top have their struggles. A little too clearly. A general's duties feel overwhelming at times. But there are lives hanging in the balance. I recognize the weight of every decision I make, and I do find satisfaction in protecting those lives. No. Remember our first time meeting back at the recruitment center? I, a fallen noble with nothing to my name. And you, a struggling elder traveler. Back then, my only goal was getting ahead. My people were little more than an afterthought. If I hadn't met you, I'd have never realized the truth about my fortune, my father's intentions, and I certainly wouldn't have saved the Hellions. I owe seeing the joy in their faces to you. I think I've said it before, but again, thank you. You need to give yourself some credit, Stroll. Yep. I would still owe any credit I could take to you for showing me the way. They live stable, peaceful lives thanks to you. No. You've a whole country on your shoulders now. The road ahead will be full of challenges we can't possibly foresee. But show me the way. and I'll blaze the trail. Now and always, it's my role as a warrior to be the vanguard. Our titles may have changed, but I'd like to think our friendship is as steadfast as ever. Don't hesitate to rely on me, now and always. Katharina's here. Hi, Katharina. Oh, well, if it ain't the big man himself. Good timing, mate. I just got back into town myself. I forget, where did you go again? I'm captain of the Seekers Recon team, remember? We travel the world, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And crazy doesn't begin to describe with what's beyond the sea. The sights, the magic, everything's so fantastic. I'm already itching to get back out there. Well, not especially keen on dodging the bloody cannonballs when my ship gets too close. Lots of tension out there. But what country isn't a little tense? Everything from the customs to the way they think is so different. My head spins. Makes all the tribal bickering seem right dull, if I can speak my mind. But this country's changing for the better. Glad I turned over the throne to you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, come on. Just roasting ya. After we knocked heads, I knew I could trust you with making the lives of the Parapists better. Better than they was. All my cohort have found new jobs. And some of them even have picked up new skills from being out at sea so long. But don't you worry your kingly head. I'll have it all whipped up in a report for you. Do some proper kingish with it, yeah? Do something proper kingish with it, yeah? Haizumi and Basilia are here.
Well?
Well, I see our king is out on some personal business, eh? I believe Hulkenberg was searching for you. I suppose it's none of my business who comes or goes. I'm gonna break myself. Only try not to frustrate your royal guards overmuch. They all take their duties quite seriously. Much like their captain. Bah, who am I kidding? A knight who smiles is surely a myth. That's become clear to me since becoming titled. What could be more bizarre? A Yugi outcast, once a wanted criminal with a bounty on his head, made knight commander. There was, of course, some opposition at first, but the more heart-to-heart talks I've had, the more accepting they've become, albeit gradually.
They needn't look further than the outcast who became their king.
Indeed. You faced no shortage of persecution, and look at you now. Grand titles and posts across the nation are no different spread across all the tribes. I've realized over the past year now how much a nation is defined by its people. No matter how great a king, he alone does not a country make. Yet, he stands for the very people, for those very people, as symbol and representative. Naturally, the king and those around him are mixed tribes. It has already caused a great shift in sentiment, even for those in the rural villages.
And just how is Tadari these days?
He seems as busy as he can handle, now that they've resumed trade with other villagers. Your coronation inspired that village to greater heights. It proves that barriers can be broken, and that even they could take the first step. New winds are blowing in every corner of this country. I'll have to make another trip back home with my son to see the changes for myself soon enough. And someday, I hope distant generations will grow up only knowing conflict, born of tribal differences from history books. We have ways to go before that day comes, but until it does, let us forge the path forward towards it, Your Majesty.
Basilia!
Hey, out inspecting again. Seems a right pain to me, but I appreciate you going on to all that effort.
Making your rounds, Basilia.
Oh yeah, Captain of the Trading Brigade reporting in. I'm pleased to report there's nothing to report. Your Majesty, so I'm taking a break. Bit of a mouthful, ain't it? Still not used to calling myself a captain besides. We've even taken in some survivors from Louis' troops, you know. But don't you worry. I got two eyes on them even when I ain't looking. Way I see it, they weren't the ones trying to make the world worse. And just gotta show them how power's supposed to be used, yeah? We owe it to you that there's less discrimination in the city these days. Fewer and fewer are turning to a life of crime to make ends meet. If Dell could see Grand Trad today, his eyes would bug out. And not just Dell, a lot of the guys who didn't make it.
I only wish they could have seen it for themselves.
Yeah, same. But as long as we keep them in our memory, it's as close to saving them as we can get. Vinka included. We built this piece with a lot of blood and tears. So I say those of us who made it this far owe it to all of them what didn't get to protect it. Maybe I've got nothing to report today, but it's not like bad people just stop being bad because you're king now. You've been through a lot, though, so thanks for not giving up on us, or the world for that matter. You spot any trouble that I didn't spot first, you just point me at it and I'll solve it quick like.
Oh. He's here.
Why, hello, Your Majesty. It's only been a year since your coronation, but I see you've become quite apt at sneaking away from your palatial duties.
Epic refantasian. Refantasian nudging. Wait, what? Hi, Skybrain. That is certainly a word. Yeah, I think we're just in like an epilogue, so we probably won't be streaming this for very long, but I'm gonna switch over to Monster Hunter Wilds once we are wrapped up here. Probably one of the words of all times. Yeah.
Under constant fire from knaves of all trades, con artists, and critics alike, your opening act has been rather tumultuous, no?
Yeah, it's been tough, but I'm glad we've managed so far.
Quite right. Your critics are loud and open with their barbs, but plenty more have put their faith in you. Besides, most of those agitators are the kind of scum that stirs the pot in hopes that they might benefit from the country's turmoil. Nothing I couldn't handle, of course. All in a day's work for the royal adjutant of the Citizens' Council. Quite an ally I've made, I should hope. I wonder if my mother would be the slightest bit proud to see who I've become, and that I'm doing my damnedest to use my talents for good, as I always should have.
There's no doubt in my mind.
I hope so. I was such a problem child. I'd like to make this a country where honest folk like my mother can be happy. Ah, that reminds me. Do you remember Datram, my hometown's landowner? He told me to send you his regards. He's since confessed his crimes and is awaiting trial. You were the one who awakened his conscience. It makes sense, doesn't it? You've proven your ideals to be true. That's why the country is doing so well. There's nothing more to it. I'm hardly qualified to speak of pride, but if this country has one, it's you. And I am proud to be among its people. Perhaps under your rule, the day will come where even we Nydia can walk about freely in our true forms. Ah, you're curious about what I look like in my true form. I'd be happy to oblige, but let's save that for another time, shall we?
Cat. Wait a second. Isn't that the cat from Academia? If that place is made of magic, how is it here in real life? Say nothing of how he could have survived in a deserted ruin buried in the snow. That shouldn't be possible, right? And yet, he's never stopped looking cute. It doesn't bother you at all. You sure are something else. If memory serves, the last king did build himself a study in the Mage Academy. Do you think the academia was styled after that, maybe? I wonder what His Majesty, what more felt when he put this little guy in academia. The cat tends to himself quietly, utterly impartial to us. Plateau! He made it! Oh. Oh, there you are, Pandora. Heard you were in town, so I decided to see if we might cross paths. I have so much to tell you about my inspection, so I'm afraid you'll need to clear your diary for me soon. Did you bring me back any souvenirs? Let's just focus on the report. Don't worry, I'll give you the gist. Firstly, the Mage Academy's reconstruction is going swimmingly. Repairs are in full swing, and we're already processing admissions. I must say, I'm still surprised you appointed me, of all people, to be the Academy's headmistress. I was rather looking forward to going back on tour as a songstress. Oh, and shall I introduce you to my furry little friend? I scooped him up in the Academy, of all places. During the reconstruction, they stumbled upon this little guy in some kind of observatory, supposedly used by a king long ago. Considering the igniter around his neck, I'm sure he was being taken care of. I mean, there's no way a cat could survive alone in the cold, could he? Regardless, of our mysterious kitty is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Academy. All that knowledge was lost when it fell, so we're starting from scratch. It may even be hiding secrets as big as the Dragon Temple, or the Sanctum. Oh, and I'm keeping the cat. Feels like fate, you know? And speaking of fate, on our way back I met up with Murtis. She's been keeping well, I trust. More than well. Her throat has been fine, and she's a fairly prominent singer about town now. We both just keep on soaring to new heights. Her in music, and me coming face to face with magic again. Surely you remember, music was the first magic born into this world, yes? When the heart expresses itself through music, it moves the hearts of others. And when they make hearts swell, why, there's no end to the magic. So you just watch. With music and magic at my side, I'm going to change the world. All will have equal opportunity to hone their talents at the Mage Academy. Our doors are open to all. That's what my sister would have wanted. And if it makes the world a better place, isn't that just grand? Rella really taught me that magic is more than a tool. It's in all of us, deep in our hearts. Plateau! I'm glad Plateau is okay. That's important. Let's go talk to Norris. Is the Gauntlet Runner here? Let's go, Gauntlet Runner!
Ha ha ha! What brings His Royal Majesty here? Come to feel the wind on your face, too, have you? I know how it is. I've the fancy old title of Chief Engineer of the Kingdom Infrastructure Development Bureau, and can research as I please now. But something is missing. So I threw off that stuffy old uniform and came to gaze upon the runner in the way that I do.
I feel like I know what you mean when you say something is missing.
I knew you'd agree. I think my bones are aching to feel the wind. I rather miss the days of dashing hither and thither in the runner. Not that I'm ungrateful for the gracious title you've given to a man who used to skulk about modifying gauntlet runners. You haven't seen anything yet. Why, one day I'll invent a teleportation device that will deliver fresh fish straight from the ocean, from Oceania to your palatial plate. It would change the world, wouldn't you say? I'm just a bit, stuck at the beginning on the development. And it's at times like this where I need stimulation of the mind. You have anything that might do the trick?
Are you going to send me on another relic hunt?
Don't pretend you didn't enjoy it. Every time you'd pop back in with one, I remember how I could hardly contain my excitement. I do miss traveling like that. Even if the relics themselves were better off untouched. They've become the guiding principles of my research, you know? Convenience is important, but one must consider safety and the effects it might have on the world. An engineer who dumps a burden on future generations is no engineer at all. Still, it's no small feat to design with a perfect balance of safe and revolutionary. Even I struggle with it, and I'm a bally genius. I knew it. What I need is stimulation Your Majesty. You know, like the old soul-shaking speed and quiver of a drive engine. You'll let me know if you ever want to go out for a spin, won't you? Our dear old girl, sparkling clean, and always ready for takeoff.
He had to stop himself from just calling me lad. Let's go talk to Barden. Ah. Ah. Barden, hello.
What an unexpected coincidence, Your Majesty. No guards with ye today. Don't worry, I'm no tattletale. I myself just left a meeting going over how the provincial governments are doing. We convened for the new year.
I assume you're pretty busy these days?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, but the job's its own reward, knowing what good it does for the town. And I'm pleased to report, as head of the provincial lords, it's nothing but good news reaching my ears. Better relations between towns has employment up and overall welfare too. For each town has specialties and wisdom to offer. And when we combine our heads, there's no problem we can't solve. I just feel so blessed to be a part of it. I know I made some blunders when I first stepped into the governor's role, but I'm happy to share my failings so others don't repeat my mistakes.
Are things alright now?
Indeed, they are. The townspeople play an active role in policy and administration, and I'm not bearing that weight alone. Of course, some lords are like I was once, and would rather manage things at their sole discretion than leave things to the people. And yes, taking every matter to public opinion can be laborious. And what with all the proceedings and disputes? Still, changing our own lives with our own hands makes the process worth the trouble. And choosing a king of our own will was all the inspiration we needed for change.
I wonder what kind of igniters that Brigida is made. The king himself out browsing the shops? Perhaps I need to draft up a royal certificate of appointment. Tell the world we supply goods to the royal family. Anything you'd recommend? One igniter in particular, in fact. Though I'm afraid we're all sold out of it at the moment. The igniter I made at the children's request, the one that lights up with rainbow colors, is selling startlingly well. The store was packed with families and children. I now hold a position where I control the distribution of all manner of goods throughout the kingdom and the head of the Igniter Consortium. I can't help but think that if I had been in this position sooner, then the church's violence, the tragedy of that village, could have been prevented. What matters is how we move forward, though, right? Indeed. I can dwell on the past all I wish, but it won't change it. The future, on the other hand. I took up this post after I was nominated by my colleagues. In other words, I suppose that means people have expectations of me, and that I, too, am a spoke in the wheel of change. Our new king has changed this country for the better. However, as a former arms dealer, it would be naive to think all weapons can disappear from this world. It's all the more reason, I hope, that the reasons for people to wield them continue to decline. To that end, I'll continue doing all that I possibly can. with all that I am, just as you do. Ah, yes. Do you remember my dog? I found the ones who took her. Naturally, I considered ending their lives. But there she was, sitting beside them. Evidently, they could not bring themselves to harm such a sweet creature, so they decided to keep her instead. I had no choice but to spare their lives. I couldn't subject a gentle dog to the atrocities I'd commit in her name. You should come play with her sometime. I'm sure she remembers you. Doggo! Let's go, doggo! Now we can talk to Yufa. And then we gotta go find... find Maria. Working as hard as ever, Pandora. Were you going about town and listening to what people have to say? Myself, I've just come from the Crown Court, where I've been consulting with the people about their grievances and disputes as Chief Magistrate. Our court is taking on common grievances. In the past, we were busy with cases of violence and theft, but those have decreased remarkably. As you're undoubtedly aware, in the past many citizens were sentenced to hang without so much as a trial. I am pleased to report that things are different now. Anyone regardless of race or status can tell their side of the story in court and be judged equally and fairly. It just goes to show anything is possible, even for a priestess to become a chief magistrate. And my brother is making great strides as village chief. He rather hated his role before, but he's truly found his calling, I think. As I said, no one knows what the future holds. It's all the more reason I try to guide people to good choices. I want to live in a society that practices kindness, where those who suffer need not turn to crime, and so I practice what I preach. The other day, I went to Ovi's church to inquire with those who are sick there about how the kingdom can be more accessible to them. Was Ovi doing well? Yes. We practiced dancing together, and then we showed her mother. All of them are ready to ease into working again. Hearing them made me reflect on all of the people who still need our help. Until now, the only hope those people had was God. I want to fight for them to have options, under laws and systems that they can rely on in addition to higher power. A country where all the tribes with all their values can join hands in harmony. That is what we need. You aim to achieve that too, yes, Your Majesty. I hope you will allow me to continue walking alongside you in this. Okay, that's everyone. We can go talk to Maria. I think we've heard all we can from the people. Should we head to where Maria is? Let's go see her. Being here sure brings back memories. You remember how we came here looking for Maria before the tournament for the throne? She was crying back then, though. Things are different now. You can say that again. This country's turned around since then, no doubt about it. I'm sure there will always be differences of opinion, but your ideals are really coming to fruition now. I can feel it. That reminds me, what's up with that book you're carrying around now? Is that the one you've been working on yourself? I'm excited to see what kind of fantasy you can conjure up. But maybe that's not even the word for it. After all, if you're the one putting it into ink, that means you're going to make it a reality someday. Now then, Your Majesty, shall we get going?
Please.
Posture check and hydrate, thank you. Hi, you okay?
Please.
Bum bum. Oh, hello there. Oh, right. I suppose now. Yeah, okay. Voiced.
いろいろあったけど、あれからみんなで頑張ってるよって。いつかの約束、自分は守れているかな。うん、悪い人をやっつけて町の人に笑顔が増えたよ。お父さんもきっと喜んでると思う。よかったね。マリアに言ってもらえると私も本当に嬉しい。
Yay! It's a joy to see kids like her smile. The future changes slowly, and the burden of its momentum will fall onto their shoulders one day.
私もね、できることから頑張ってみようと思うんだ。私ね、みんなに伝えたいんだ。誰かと手をつなげば世界はきっと変わるって。あれから何回もファビアンヌさんのご飯、お腹空いた人たちに食べてもらったんだよ。そこで自分の場所が分かったって人もいた。きっと私もそう。そうやってみんなで一緒に変わっていけば、王様とお父さんの夢にも近づくでしょ。
A place where I ought to be. A side of myself I ought to show. The path is never clear.
私も何かお手伝いしたい。だってみんながニコニコ笑ってる国がいいから。あ、ぜひ頼むよ。一緒に頑張ろう。
How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
ありがとう、王様。ありがとう、王様。ありがたいのはこっちだな。あの笑顔。
この国の明るい未来そのものだ。
Stroll is here. Oh no, everyone is here.
みんな久しぶり。元気してた？
せっかくだし、私もアルセスに挨拶をしておこうと思ってな。
おい、あの方たちはもしかして。俺見ろ、人目を引いてるぞ。ぞろぞろいかんでも。
いいじゃねえか。たまには全員集合もよ。
It's fine.
ジュナさん、地道に凱旋車で地べた走ってきたんすか？転移魔法あんだから迎えに王様呼べばよかったのに。
お前な。
いいのよ。私が国の様子を見て回りたかったの。都会と違って地方はまだ結構荒れてるわね。強化現象も残ってるし、人間も相変わらず出るみたい。
その都度兵を連れて乗り込んではいるが、遠方の声まで残らず拾うのはなかなか難しい。
当たり前だけど、王様になったからって急に全部を見渡せるようになんかならないもんね。
去年の俺と同じだな。結局世の中外出て足で稼がんとわからねえことだらけだ。
He's right. The capital can be a bit of a bubble. There will always be more to do and learn beyond its walls.
1年前なら直接飛んでったとこだな。けどまあ、今なら多少は留守にしても回るんじゃねえか。まあ、こうなる可能性も考えて準備くらいは進めている。
とはいえ、まだ1年だ。空士の衛星が増えれば、悪さを企む者はどうしても増える。
お、いたいた、あそこだ。なあ、言ったろ、あれ王様だろ。
さすがに目立ちすぎたか。
よう、王様。
何がよう王様か貴様。
落ち着け。秒で抜こうとするんじゃない。外へ繰り出してきたのはこっちだろう。
王様、いつもありがとな。あんたのおかげでだいぶ暮らしやすくなったぜ。
いろいろあるけどさ、一緒に頑張っていきましょう。応援してるからさ。
みんな応援してくれてる。なんか去年の景色が蘇ってくるね。
そうだな。こういう声聞いてっと思い出しちまうぜ。
何せドラゴンまで全部ぶっ倒して回ったからな。考えてみりゃよく生きてたな、俺ら。
We really did just leg it up and down the country slaying dragons, eh?
なかなか刺激的な無茶だったわね。竜神様を鎮めるために戦った時には、まさかあと4度も竜と戦うことになるなんて考えもしませんでした。
Yay! We fought 4 more
同感だ。
dragons.
よもや竜殺しの称号をもらう日が来ようとは。人生何があるかわからん。
Well, wait, no. We actually fought 5. We fought 6 dragons in total. Come on. Or 6 dragons besides the dragon god. So we fought 7 dragons. I resolved to believe in my ideals no matter what may come. Even back then. Even if the world is slow to change, a king's beliefs can never waver.
大変だったが、本当に楽しかったな。
結構人が増えてきたね。そろそろ仕事に戻りましょう。
ああ、すべきことはまだまだ山積みだ。
Yay!
それからほどなくの新年。
Some days later.
Tabi? ちょっと、本当に行くつもり？
やっぱり自分の目で確かめたいんだ。
世界の様子をちゃんと知りたいってわけね。ま、王様だもんね。
そいつは楽しそうだが、旅となるとお忍びでその辺歩くのとはわけが違う。
I mean, we have overpowered teleport ability, so
お前さんは民の期待を背負った国王様だ。王様らしく王都にでんと構えとくって選択もあるぜ。
できることをしたいんだ。それが国王らしくないなら地位にこだわりはない。
ちょっと冗談でもやめて。
相変わらずの肝っ玉だな。ま、言いたいことはわかるぜ。マグラや人間ってのは国に渦巻く不安そのものだ。ってことはそれがどこにどんくらいあんのか目で見て回れるわけだ。不安と向き合えねえまんまじゃ人が上を向けねえ。人が上向かねえんじゃ国や社会が上向くはずもねえ。だから確かめたい。それが君主として一番にすべきことだってとこか。
even the most faraway future begins with the belief that it can be realized. So I'll press onward. That's the best I can do.
それならそう言ってよね。もう。
俺はいいと思うぜ。楽しそうだしな。てか、それでこそ俺の知ってる我らが王様ってもんだ。となりゃ宮廷技師の俺も音もするしかねえよな。王族専用の凱旋車は俺にしか運転できねえしな。何せ国中のドラゴン征伐までやってのけた王様だ。ついていったら今度は何が見られんのかゾクゾクするぜ。伝説の旅路再びってやつだ。おいお前ら聞こえたか？
Yeah, there they are.
王様、勝手に話を進めるな。まったく。
城を出るならお声がけよとあれほど言ったでしょ。まったく。
ユーラス、あらかじめ呼んでたってこと？
話が早いだろ。てかなんだよ、6本槍なのに2本だけじゃねえか。
さすがに全員で払うわけにいくか。
お、その口ぶりだと止めねえってことか。
ヒュルケンベルグと話し合ってな。もしお前が行くと言い出したら止めるより俺たちもついていこうと決めた。
嬉しいけど大丈夫なのか？
ルイとの最後の戦いを思い出してな。あの時国のみんなは俺たちの理念や言い分だけを応援してくれたわけじゃない。
今まさに頭上で怪物と戦っている。そんな姿を応援してくれたんだ。いつだって人は最後には体験や感情で物事を決める。正しくても仕組みが確かでも顔が見えない相手をいつまでも信じていられない。孤独を拭えない存在だ。
だから世界をもう一度見てこようって考えには反対しない。顔が見える王になるために必要なことだろう。
My friends and allies believe as I do. Their support is the greatest treasure I could have.
しかしこのように新年早々とは困った陛下であらせられる。
全員集合とはいかなかったが た一緒に行けて俺も嬉しいぜ。
けど本当に大丈夫なの？将軍と近衛隊長が揃ってついてきちゃって。
Well, to be fair, the Royal Guard captain is a role where she should just be with us.
炎が王に付き従うのはむしろ当然だ。それに私一人が不在なくらいでふぬける我が隊ではない。
なんとかしてみせるさ。信じて人に任せる。俺たちこそが率先してやらなきゃな。
みんなありがとう。なら出発だ。
Yay!
かの日、私の声を聞き、答えたもうた人よ。幻想とは無力な作り物か？あの問いの答えは、きっと誰もが生きている限り問われ続ける。しかし、彼はきっと成し遂げるだろう。君が信じて導いてくれたおかげだ。未だ希望を失わぬ異教の住人に願い、導きを得ること。それこそが我が王の魔法の真の姿。
The true purpose of the royal magic was to break the fourth wall.
君は求めに応え、希望を、すなわち幻想の力を見事示した。なんと恐れ知らずで、軽やかで、心躍る導きだったろう。ありがとう。
この感じ、久しぶりだな。
ああ、頬に当たる風が懐かしい。
柄にもなく詩人だな。うん。
てかひどくない？置いていこうとするなんて。まあ転移魔法ですぐ戻れるでしょってついてきた私たちも大きなことは言えませんが。
つうかよ、この子に新しい景色を見せてやりたかったしな。
Ah, that's why they were late.
皮肉だな。王爵の消滅でマグラが整い、砂地に緑が戻るとは。
でもこっちの方が断然好き。
行こう。
There we go. We've made it to the end. I knew I only had like an hour left. But yeah, we've done it. 118 hours. So yeah, I would say that should equate to at least 236 hydrates. It probably did. If not more. Okay, I'll drink even more water. But yeah, credits. I don't know. But yeah. I had a lot of fun playing the game. I would just say, like, I don't know. In a way, the plot definitely did catch me off guard in a few places, but it's just like things just occurred. Like, kind of at, like, there's a few times where it was just, like, just a jarring twist for, like, whatever reason. But yeah. I don't know, game was very fun. I'm happy we made it to the end. All of the... I know the last, like, YouTube stream broke at one point, so it missed, like, an hour and 30 minutes. I don't know. I'll fix it at some... We'll get the VOD up somehow. But yeah, definitely toward the end of the game there was just some absolutely crazy reveals. I'm glad that I guessed what the who the more like the disembodied feminine voice belonged to. I'm glad I managed to guess that, like, around when we were at the Elden Sanctum. But yeah, and the final boss was actually really tough, and I know I had a setup that made it significantly easier than it would have been otherwise. But yeah, like some of the boss fights in this game were really tough. I know I had the difficulty set to hard, which definitely does make a difference, but yeah. I don't know. I think I didn't actually beat Louis' final form until I got a run with better RNG. Because I have a couple, like, I had a couple of really powerful skills set up. Defensive, so like, but the problem is I just, like, wasn't getting them, and I was just being AoE'd to death. But yeah, fighting Louis without the 10,000 damage skill, and what would be tricky, for sure, really tricky. Although when we first reached him in Tyrant Star, he just didn't get to play the game. So I have no idea how tough that particular fight would have been. Because I just killed him in 2 turns. 40,000 damage. So yeah. It certainly did occur. I gotta grab that clip so I can show one of my friends what I did there. I think he would appreciate it. But yeah. A very, very big thank you to everyone who has watched me play the vast majority of this game. I know it's a very long game, so I'm glad that I'm really happy that people are still popping in. Sorry, I don't know what kinds of things I should be talking about. Just thinking. Hmm. Um, and, えっと I don't know. I'm not very good at like reviewing things, giving my opinion, cause I don't know. But yeah, I think the game is good. Obviously, it was fun enough to hold my attention for 118 hours, so that's probably about the best review I can give. The menus are very pretty. I'm really happy that Plateau escaped from the magical void. That makes me happy. Where's my mouse? I don't know where it is. The Seeker.
遠き異教の人よ。君にとってこの旅はきっと幻に過ぎぬもの。だが、どうかこの幻の旅の記憶が君の現実においても輝ける希望とならんことを。幻想が君の力とならんことを心より願っている。
見ろよ。残骸が今や観光名所だ。
未知の景色に変わっていくな。
見に行きましょう。どこまでも。
新たな旅立ちか。太古、人は栄華を極めながらも滅んだ。私はそれを知り、目指す理想を書に表した。幻想の物語。それを信じた彼らによって王国は息を吹き返した。
未知なるものを信じる力こそが全てを変えていく。この先もあらゆる困難が待ち受けるでしょう。でも精一杯歩みなさい。恐れず未知なる世界へと。
Fantasy lives on. Well, there we have it. Metaphor. ReFantazio. So yeah, I knew this wasn't gonna take very long. I'm gonna be switching over to Monster Hunter World, so sorry if there was anyone watching on YouTube. That won't continue on YouTube. So I'm gonna take like a 5-minute break and switch things over, and then I'll restart the stream. I'm gonna end so it cuts the VOD. So I'll be back live in like 5 minutes. Yeah, I gotta refill my water and use the restroom and stuff, so... And then open Monster Hunter Wilds. So, yeah. I'll be back and go live again in like 5 minutes.